Welcome to 2026, and now it's time for Business Planning Excellence. What I love about business planning is I like to do it at two different times in the year. One is at the end of the financial year, and one is at the start of the calendar year. And the reason why I like to run two different sets of times is it allows me to reset to see where we're at and to adjust to make sure that we're on course to achieve what we're capable of doing. Now, when you go to think about it inside of any business, business planning excellence is about having a look about all the opportunities that you could go to pursue and thinking about what you could go to lean into. Now, if you think about it, a brand new upstart agency across the road from you, they don't have any of the strengths. Right now, you're in a position that you have got the most relationships you've ever had. You've got the most number of transactions under your belt that you've ever done. You're in a position that you've been in the industry the longest that you've ever been. You're now in a position that ultimately you know more about the marketplace than you've ever known before, and it's time to leverage all of that and do something seriously great with it. Now, the skill set here is to think very differently around what it is that you're doing, because as you start to get growth, is it about average sale price? Is it about volume of transactions? Or is it about fee? And then in addition to that, if you literally just took a little booklet with you and over the course of the next week, you did a time and motion study where you write down anything that you find yourself doing that you should just not be doing. And by the time you get to the end of the week, I want you to move that into someone else's workflow so that ultimately they're doing those actions. So then you can go to concentrate on the things that really matter. And that's where the skill set really is, because business planning excellence is about saying, okay, we need to have a look over the course of the next 12 months. Where are the school holidays? Where are the major disruption periods like Easter, conversation of June, July, conversation maybe early September? What are we doing in and around Melbourne Cup Week? And how do we go to plan to make sure that we can get to that high level of excellence? And when we go to have a look at the numbers, it's not just $1 million that we're going to write. It's $1 million divided by 10 months. And the reason why we have 10 months is we've got 2 months of the year where things are a bit weird, things are a bit strange, things are not really where they need to be. So now you need to write a minimum of $100,000. In order to go and write $100,000 a month, you've got to start to think, okay, great, maybe that's 5 sales. To make 5 sales, maybe that's 7 listings. To get 7 listings, maybe I've got to go to 10 listing presentations. To do 10 listing presentations, maybe I've got to go out there and, I don't know, do 30 market appraisals. 30 plus 10 is 40 appointments. Divide that by 20 days. That's work days. That now means that I've got to be in a position that I need to be at a minimum of 2 appointments a day. It's either a market appraisal or a listing appointment. Every week, I'm going to measure those numbers. I'm going to send it through to my coach on a Friday about what's actually really happening inside of the business. Now, all of a sudden, we've got the skill set to understand the big vision. We've all of a sudden simmered it down to the really small individual behavioral characteristics that if I just get 2 appointments a day, I'm going to have a phenomenal business. And that's what business planning excellence is all about. Keeping it super simple, knowing what really works, amplifying that, and not getting caught up in all the noise of the things that you can do, but instead focusing on the things that you know that will absolutely make the biggest difference to your overall business performance.